Hello, and welcome to Scouting for Growth. I'm your host, Sabine VanderLinden. Let me ask you a question that might be uncomfortable. What if the single greatest obstacle to your company's future success isn't the competition? What if it isn't a lack of budget or a shortage of talent or even the speed of technological change? What if it is something invisible? A silent thief of momentum that lives in the space between your boardroom's bold vision and your team's daily reality. It is the reason multi-year transformation roadmaps quietly wither. It is why quick wins never seem to scale. It is why your best people are perpetually, heroically, exhaustingly busy. Yet the needle barely moves on your most critical goals. This is the capacity gap. And today we are going to pull this ghost out of the machine. Here's the uncomfortable truth. For years, we have misdiagnosed this as a failure of strategy, leadership, or talent. It's none of those. It is a structural failure to align what we want to do with what we can do. And here's the reframe I want you to carry with you. It is not a people problem. It is a math problem. A fundamental mismatch between the infinite demands of strategic ambition and the finite capacity of your organization to execute. In the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to define this gap, show you how the world's most innovative companies are mastering it, and leave you with a clear 5-step playbook you can take back to your leadership team on Monday morning. Because in the age of AI, the winners will not be the companies with the most visionary strategies, indeed. They will be the companies with the smallest capacity gap. Let's begin. Welcome to Scouting for Growth. Let's talk about the scale of this challenge, because when you see the data, you will understand why I believe this is the defining leadership challenge of our time. The pressure on executives has never been greater. A perfect storm of disruptive forces, generative AI, climate risk, shifting customer expectation, relentless cyber threats, is forcing a level of ambition that our legacy operating models simply cannot support. And the data is stark. Up to 80% of strategy execution failures can be traced back to this ambition capacity gap. Think about that for a moment. 4 out of 5 of your most critical initiatives are at risk, not because they are bad ideas, but because the organizational engine cannot deliver them. We see companies pouring trillions into digital transformation. $1.85 trillion in 2022 alone, yet a shocking 70% of this initiative still failed to meet their objectives. The culprit is rarely the technology itself. It is the organizational friction, the legacy systems, the sheer operational drag that creates a bottleneck between vision and value. The insurance industry, where I spend much of my time, is at the epicenter of this storm. A recent BCG study found that while the sector leads in AI adoption, and that is something to be proud of, actually, a staggering 70% of the challenges in scaling these initiatives are not technological. They are human and organizational. Only 7% of insurers have successfully scaled their AI systems across the enterprise. The rest, they are stuck in what we call pilot purgatory. Endless proofs of concept that never graduate to production, innovation theater that looks good in the annual report but never touches the bottom line. This is the capacity gap in action. It is a canyon that opens when the C-suite declares, "We need to be an AI-first company," while the IT department is still wrestling with a core system from 2004. The constraint is no longer vision, it is delivery. But while many incumbents are drowning in this gap, a new breed of organization is emerging. I call them frontier firms. These companies, like the financial services behemoth Ping An or the global food giant Nestlé, are not just managing capacity. They are weaponizing it. They treat capacity not as a fixed constraint, but as a dynamic asset to be designed, orchestrated, and multiplied. They have shifted their core question. Instead of asking, how do we build this ourselves? They ask, how do we close the gap intelligently and deliver outcomes faster? Let me tell you a story about Ping An because it is perhaps the ultimate blueprint for a frontier firm. Ping An started as a traditional Chinese insurer. Today, it has transformed itself into a technology-driven ecosystem, famously stating that its goal was to be a technology company that happens to work in finance. The numbers are staggering. Over 53,000 patent applications, a dedicated force of 3,000 scientists, and 21,000 developers. They have systematically dismantled the traditional constraints of the insurance industry. Their AI-powered systems deliver results that obliterate traditional benchmarks. Their 111 fast claim service, one sentence to report, one click to upload, 1 minute to validate, has an average claim processing time of just 7.4 minutes. An astonishing 93% of their life insurance policies are underwritten in seconds. Their AI-driven image recognition for auto damage assessment boasts 95% accuracy. They didn't just speed up the old model. They actually created a new one. And by building an intelligent core, they were able to spin off ventures like OneConnect, a technology as a service platform that now serves 99% of China banks and 53% of its insurers. They turn their internal capacity into an external revenue stream. Now consider Nestlé. The world's largest food company faced a different capacity challenge, the speed of innovation. To close the gap between their aggressive product development goals and the bloating pace of traditional R&D, they invested heavily in AI. They built a generative AI platform that analyzes vast customer data sets to generate new product concepts. The impact? Nestlé's system can generate over 1,300 product concepts in minutes, shrinking a 3-month concept development cycle to just 3 weeks. By augmenting their human teams with AI, they can explore more ideas, test them faster, and bring more winning products to market. This is the key insight. Frontier firms invest in what we call operational elasticity, a combination of modular technology-rich partner ecosystems and agile governance that allows them to expand and contract their delivery capacity on demand. They don't just run more projects, they build a system for higher throughput. So how do you begin to build this system in your own organization? Here is the crucial reframe. Closing the capacity gap is not about asking your teams to work harder. It is about redesigning the work itself. Frontier firms have written the playbook, and it is available for any leader willing to make the shift. I'm going to walk you through 5 steps. I encourage you to think about where your organization stands on each one of them. Step 1, audit your delivery capacity. You cannot manage what you do not measure. The first step is to conduct a ruthless, honest audit of your organization through delivery capacity. This means going beyond budget, spreadsheets, and project charters. You need to quantify the actual execution load, map your strategic ambition against your finite resources. That means people, skills, technology, and time. Ask the hard questions. How many transformation programs are truly active? What is the actual throughput of your innovation pipeline? Where are the hidden bottlenecks where projects go to die? This audit will create a capacity versus ambition map. It will expose the mismatches and make the invisible gap visible and therefore actionable. You may find that you have 50 priority one initiatives, that it's not a priority list, that is a wish list, and it is a symptom of the gap. If you want to know about capacity versus ambition map, just give us a little call. Step 2, boost innovation throughput. Here is a principle I want you to remember. Innovation is not an event, it is a capacity system. The goal is not to generate more ideas, it is to increase the flow of ideas to scaled outcomes. This requires a shift from celebrating pilots to engineering a repeatable pipeline for value. Limit your work in progress. It is far better to finish 5 high quality or high impact initiatives than to start 10 and finish none. Every unfinished project is a tax on your organization capacity. Create dedicated cross-functional digital ecosystem or digital factory teams shielded from the gravitational pull of daily operations. Empower them to drive high-priority projects from concept to launch. Protect their time. Protect their focus. This is how you move from pilot purgatory to an outcome engine. Step 3, leverage partners as force multipliers. Frontier firms understand they cannot win alone. They aggressively leverage external ecosystems not as simple vendors, but as strategic capacity multipliers. This is the essence of the venture client model, a framework I've spent the past 10 years developing. A large corporation acts as a client to a startup, providing it with its first crucial contract. In return, the corporation gains access to cutting-edge technology and specialized skills without the overhead of internal development. When your partner is a startup, you are not just buying software, you are buying capacity relief, you are buying speed, you are buying the ability to execute on your strategy without having to build every capability from scratch. Think of startups not as vendors, but as execution leverage. They are a way to inject new capacity or capabilities, accelerate the delivery, and de-risk innovation. Step 4. Enable operational elasticity. Operational elasticity is the ability to dynamically scale your capacity up or down to meet demand. This is achieved through a combination of technology and organizational design. Migrating to modular cloud-based architectures provides the technical foundation. It allows you to scale computing resources on demand and avoid infrastructure bottlenecks. But elasticity is also about people. It means building a flexible workforce model. It means cross-training employees. It means having framework agreements in place with trusted partners to bring in skilled teams on short notice. This creates an organization that can seize opportunities and handle surges in demand without hitting a hard ceiling. It is a difference between a rigid structure that breaks under pressure and a flexible system that bends. Step 5, make capacity a leadership metric. Finally, the focus on capacity must be embedded in your organization's governance and leadership accountability. The capacity gap persists because we reward ambition but take execution for granted. We celebrate the launch of a new initiative, but we don't track whether it ever delivers value. Make capacity the board-level metric. Track innovation throughput and delivery velocity with the same rigor you track revenue and profit. Appoint a chief transformation or execution officer with the authority to cut through bureaucracy and reallocate resources. When leadership is measured on its ability to close the gap between strategy and delivery, the entire organization will begin to shift its focus from admiring the problem to actively solving it. The capacity gap is the quiet crisis in the modern enterprise, but it is not unsurmountable. It is a design problem, and as any design problem, it can be solved by design. The choice for leaders today is stark. You can continue to admire the gap, launching ambitious strategies that are destined to fail under their own weight, or you can begin the real work of building an organization that has the capacity to deliver on its promise. This is not about incremental improvement, actually. It is about a fundamental shift in mindset. It is about recognizing that in the age of AI, the most valuable asset is not your strategy, it is your ability to execute it. The playbook is clear. The examples of frontier firms like Ping An and Nestlé prove it's possible. The only remaining question is this: do you have the capacity for change? Well, thank you for joining me today. I am Sabine VanderLinden. It was a pleasure to dive into the capacity gap with you here on Scouting for Growth. If this episode resonates with you, I would recommend and encourage you to share it with a colleague who is wrestling with this same challenge right now. And if you'd like to continue the conversation, you can find me on LinkedIn. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. We review every ratings and comments. If you want to recommend themes that are of most importance to you, well, DM me on LinkedIn, Instagram, or x.com. Until next, keep scouting for growth.